I'm Tracey Barnes-Priestley. This week on What's on Your Bucket List, we head on down to Old Town in Eureka for a little hair-raising history. Then we shine the spotlight on some sweet treats with one of Humboldt's most beloved bakers. Coming up next on What's on Your Bucket List. Our first guest had a truly supernatural bucket list request, but I'll let her explain what we went looking for. I'm here today with Marion Love, and I have to admit this one has got my interest from the very first time I read your application. Why don't you tell people where we are and what are we checking off your bucket list today?
Well, this is used to be the Eagle House. Now it's Second and C, an inn, beautifully decorated, and we're sure the ghosts are in charge of all of that because there are ghosts here and I would like to meet them.
God, just when you said that, I got some shivers. I'm not gonna. Yeah, when I read your application, I had never heard that there were ghosts in the inn in Second and C. I was really intrigued by that, and they have graciously allowed us to visit the inn today, and specifically a couple of rooms where the ghosts have been most noticeable. But before we get to that, how did you find out about the ghosts here?
Well, I have friends who can see ghosts and hear ghosts. I haven't done either, and I'm very jealous because I would love to do that. But they hear a scream in this building, and I have a friend who's Irish, and we come to a lot of the Irish things that Gallagher's does, and she sees them. They come to the Gallagher's things too.
They do.
And I have a couple of other friends who see ghosts also. They used to live above Geppetto's, which used to be up the street.
Yes, up the street. When people say they see ghosts, what do you think it is they're actually see? I mean, what was that, a shadow?
I assume they see a person.
A person.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. And it's a little scary, but it's also kind of intriguing. How can you talk to them? Can you find out about them?
Then you communicate with them.
Yeah, do you know who they are? And yeah.
When did you first become interested in paranormal?
Oh, all my life. This has been something that it's all there, you know. There's more in this dimension than we recognize, and I just feel that there's another layer in places where a lot of places I've gone.
That we just really don't understand fully yet.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to find out today. I'm looking forward to this. You ready to go take a look, take a tour?
Yes, a tour of this wonderful place.
All right, okay. Stick with me.
All right.
Okay. When we decided we were going to do a little ghost hunting, I knew just the man to call. Eric Bolmers, the founder and owner of Old Town Haunted History Tours, who leads people on walkabouts that combine fascinating local history with paranormal sightings. If I understand correctly, then you're all over Old Town.
We're all over. We're in about a mile radius.
Okay, and what are some of the places that you include in the tour?
Well, we start at the foot of F Street. We move up toward the gazebo, up toward the Vance, across to the Oberon, in through Opera Alley to what used to be the Louvre. It's in the backside of Eureka Books now. Continuing down toward the Clark Museum, all the way down to the Eagle House and around. So there's quite a few stops. There's more stories than we can possibly tell.
Is that right? Do you think it's because Humboldt County's had such a rich history with regard to loggers and fishermen, and it's been a hub?
Well, there's a lot of energy, no doubt, you know, and one of the ways that we talk about how the town has changed over time is by the number of saloons that are registered as establishments. And I think in 1865 there were 6. By 1875 there was 21. And Eureka wasn't a very big town. 1895 there was 40. And by 1909 there were 65 saloons and 32 brothels. It was a happening place with a lot of energy, and maybe some of that energy just stuck.
I was curious about how Eric investigates reports of supernatural activity.
What we try to do is, when we hear these stories, research what may have happened in these places in the past that could be linked to what's being reported in the present. And this is one of those buildings we have a little bit of connection with Georgia, one of the former owners. But you know, it's kind of our quest to really figure out more about the Inn at 2nd and C, formerly the Eagle House and the Bon Gusto.
Well, I'm looking forward to our tour. I think that Marion and I are both going to have a very good time. Shall we get going?
You bet.
All right. Thanks, Eric. We started our tour in the beautiful lobby of the Inn at 2nd and C.
Well, Marion, when I first came to the Eagle House, I went to the bar at Gallagher's, sat down, and introduced myself to the gentleman sitting there. His name was Steve Allen. He was a painter and was living here upstairs on the back side and near room 24 and number 25. And we kind of got around to what I was looking for, and he said, "Oh yeah, this place is haunted. There's cold spots in the back hallway, paintings tipped all the time, the typical things you'd think about when you think about ghosts." And about that time, the cocktail waitress walked by, and she said, "Oh, my cousin used to work upstairs, and she'd never go up to room 24 by herself." And it, of course, piqued my interest. So I came up front to the lobby here, and the manager at the time, Betty Trouth, told me that she had lots of stories from folks here. She said none of them malicious, none of them really dangerous, but she was never afraid to go anywhere by herself. But she always kept her focus on where she was going, and cautioned us to be careful what we opened ourselves up to. And I asked her about room 24, and she said, "Well, would you like to go see it?" I said, "Sure." So she took us up to room 24, and I think maybe we're going to go up there right now. Let's go in.
It's lovely.
Now, the story with room 24 begins when, with the cocktail waitress downstairs. She said her cousin would come up here and the bed would be made, but there was a distinct impression of somebody that had been in the bed. And that's the same story Betty told us, Betty Trouth, that the maids would come up here and make the bed up perfectly, and then she would come in and the bed would have the distinct impression that somebody had been laying it, had been mussed up. But while they were doing construction, they had a carpenter that decided he wanted to sleep in this room. He stayed here for 5 nights. And according to Jenny, one of the owners, the first 4 nights were uneventful. And on the 5th night, he came down, he said he'd been having vivid dreams all night. And when he woke up, he felt like he had hands around his throat. He was being pushed down into the bed. And he didn't stay here any longer after that. Who is here? What is here? Their stories, you know. And we tell people there's so many stories in such close proximity all around town. The Eureka might be the most haunted town on the West Coast, and that's our story, and we're sticking to it.
You bet.
Okay, so this is a little bit about room 24. You can see they're all beautiful rooms.
Yes.
They're all a little bit unique. I tell people, I recommend to all my friends and people that this is a great place for them to stay if they come to Eureka, and they might just have a little extra company.
But there's more. There's
more.
another room. All right.
There's more. Let's go to room 25. One of our early stories of the building, told to me by Betty, was of a couple that was staying in this room, and the wife, she was taking a bath. She felt like her husband was scrubbing her back. She was in the tub in the bathroom over here, to turn around and notice that there was nobody there scrubbing her
That's
back.
creepy.
Yeah. She also had a mother and daughter that stayed here one night. And she said they came down in the morning. They said they weren't able to sleep all night. They'd heard voices all night, and they'd seen hundreds of orbs. They took pictures, lots of pictures. I was supposed to get them. I don't have them. Of all these orbs in the room. Mm-hmm. And then they asked if they could stay in room 24 the next night. And they did, and they said the same thing happened to them there that evening. Yeah. There are other stories. They had workers here who brought their children when they were, this most recent group of owners, who the children would come up to their parents telling them somebody had been pulling their hair when nobody was there.
Really?
That kind of mischievous kind of thing happening about. There used to be a mirror out in the main room, and a guest was on the tour, and she was I told people to take pictures, because that's where most people, all of a sudden, something will come up. She sent me a picture of this mirror, and in the mirror, in the image that she sent me, she said, "What do you see?" And I looked carefully at it, and I blew it up, and a shiver went all the way through my spine. Really? There's the wall. Mm-hmm. The mirror was over there.
Oh my gosh, there's a person.
What do you see?
I see a person.
Do you see more than one?
I see a face. I see a body. I see hands.
You see at the top?
Yeah, two other heads.
Okay.
But they're not connected
What
to
do
the
you
body
see here?
like that one is. Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what really caught my attention.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other places.
Uh-huh. I don't recognize him. In fact, he looks like a woman to me.
Maybe. This right here? Mm-hmm. But this is there's the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the skull, and the hair.
I see all of that, yes.
That really
got
me when she sent me that.
Yeah.
See there? One of the things about it, about this particular building, Marianne, is that we get updates. We get lots of updates from our guests and clients and from the owners and other people. It is a bit of a mystery building to us because we don't know, you know, who was in the back room there, just exactly what went on. And so we still search and we find different clues and things, and that's what keeps it fun for us too.
Oh, yeah. Well, Marion, we've been to, let's see, how many different places? We were the sitting room and room 24, now room 19. I've had some shivers. What about you? What do you think? We've checked it off your bucket list.
It feels very calm to me. I expected to feel more upset or something. And I know I was anxious to look good and come here with a friendly attitude.
Yes.
You know. Very interesting. Yeah. Just amazing.
Well, thank you. And Eric, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful. Like many of you, I've never given too much thought about ghosts. But after what I learned today, well, I'm just not so sure anymore. I've often heard that couples who cook together stay together. So what happens when they try their hand at baking? You're about to find out. My next guests met in college, but it wasn't for another 6 years that they would actually go out on their first date. That's when the sparks flew and they were married soon thereafter. So it was no surprise that after 32 years together, they would approach their bucket list request from a place of their many shared interests, like cooking. These two often find themselves in the kitchen tackling yet another challenging recipe, but they were ready to expand their culinary skills in a different way, and that's why they applied to the show. And while we were able to join them for some fun in a very special kitchen, I think you'll also get a good recipe for what it takes to cook up a good, solid marriage. Respect, cooperation, and a lively sense of humor. Today I am here with Jim and Donna Clark. Thank you for joining us on What's on Your Bucket List. I had to tell you, when I read your application, I thought that would be a really fun project for all of us. When I was going over applications and I came to what you had identified what we're here to do, what struck me was you said you like to cook together.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
How did that get started?
Gosh, right from the beginning, I think.
Spontaneously.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because I learned to cook when I was 7.
7.
I made scrambled eggs for my parents, and it was very good, but it was texture of pulverized rubber. So my mom clued me in on how to do scrambled eggs right, and the rest is history.
You loved it.
Yes.
You've always been cooking. What
Yes.
about you, Donna?
And yeah, I cooked a lot at home.
So will you find recipes together, or?
Sometimes, yes, we read the newspaper and see something interesting, or we have a lot of cookbooks and we just go through the cookbooks. Locally Delicious is a great one.
Yeah.
We've tried a lot of their recipes.
How did you hear about this show? What's on your bucket list?
We were watching TV and saw the advertisement on Key TV, and then we watched some of the programs, and then I believe the bulletin came out in the Key guide
Right.
about the program, and then I think it was also, you announced it on television. So I went online and I think I printed up the application. And
What did you think when she said, "Hey, Jim, look what I found"?
Fine.
Where have we met on this fine day?
we're at Ramones,
Ramones?
where
That's
Barrett
right.
is the baker.
That's right. Barrett Meyer is the baker, and she's waiting for us in the other room. Any nervousness about trying something a little bit more complex?
No.
Only the thrill of anticipation.
Good. All right, good. Well, any questions you have for Barrett, you think?
I would just love the recipe.
We'll make sure you leave with the recipe.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Donna, Jim, let's go meet Barrett.
Okay, let's do it.
Entrepreneurs Barrett Myers and her husband Brian Ferguson have grown their business, Ramones, into a Humboldt institution. Happily married and working together for over 30 years, they now have 6 different locations. Whether it's sharing a sweet treat in one of their welcoming and relaxed establishments or ordering up some delicious catering for a special occasion, Ramones offers a satisfying experience for many of us here on the North Coast. After donning our required head coverings, Barrett welcomed us into Ramones' commercial kitchen. I was happy to tag along, quite willing to clean up as we checked off this delicious bucket list request.
So today we're going to make a gâteau marjolaine, and this is the finished product. I can't wait to see how you guys work with the pastry too.
I'm excited.
And what I love about this is that you can mix and match what you would like to do for the buttercream. This happens to be a coffee buttercream, and there are hazelnuts on the outside with a mix of almonds. So it's actually half almonds and half hazelnuts. We've made it gluten-free, and we're going to mix these all together, and then we're going to whip up the whites with the sugar and make a meringue, and then we're going to fold it all together. And that's all there is to it. So if you would like to, you can, if you guys want to take turns, one can mix that in, and I will give you a little spatula,
So
and you can mix that right into here. Awesome.
And if at home, if I didn't have almond meal, could I just use plain flour, regular
You
flour?
could definitely use any kind of flour. So now we're going to go and whip the whites and make the meringue and fold it all together. Here we go.
all right.
Okay. Now, you obviously don't need such a huge mixer to make this work, but we
Right.
are going to make a full sheet pan.
Okay.
This is 2.5 cups of egg whites.
Wow.
I've got the cream of tartar in already.
Oh,
Okay.
cream of tartar.
Cream
Yes.
of tartar helps stabilize and
Yes.
keep them.
About how much cream tartar?
There's a teaspoon of cream of tartar in here and 2.5 cups of egg whites.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Teaspoon.
And now we're going to crank this bowl up like that. And I'm going to put it on 3 to get this party going.
Looks like it's getting frothy.
It's coming along, frothy. I can almost see some soft peaks going. And I'm going to say it's good enough.
Jim agreed to do the heavy lifting, and we returned to the prep table for the next step.
I would say this first step isn't critical on how delicately you mix it. It's just mostly to combine the nuts and the whites. That looks great.
Well, it's time to turn it out, right?
Yes.
And make sure it, what did you say?
Just to make sure it peels off okay, because you don't want to lose any
So
of
you
that.
put the parchment and then the spray.
Yep.
We've got some.
Found some on the bottom there that was hiding out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was hiding
You
out.
can
So
kind of smush it on
get that in
as you do
while
it.
we.
Yep. And then you want to get to all corners.
Okay.
And then you can go back later and kind of even it out a little bit.
Okay. Here, can
Great.
I?
Great.
I think we've
Great
got this.
teamwork, you
Okay,
two.
you guys, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
Now
go.
you know why we cook together.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah. All
It
right.
works.
And then dump those in here when you're done. And then we'll put it in the oven.
Okay.
Looks perfect. Off to the ovens.
Jim checked out the big commercial oven, slipped in the tray, and thanks to the magic of television, their cake was done in minutes.
All right, now we've pulled it out of the oven. And this ruler is very helpful. We're going to cut it in strips. And, you know, you can kind of eyeball it too if you feel comfortable.
good
You
to
can eyeball the half
just
and
get a
not
good
get the...
start. And,
Well, this
measurement
man
out
builds
there.
kayaks,
Okay.
so he's pretty
He
good
wants
at
to be
precision
accurate.
cutting, I bet.
So this is the coffee buttercream, and I'm going to give you each a spatula to
Oh,
work
thank you.
with.
Okay.
And do you want me to show you anything, or you want to just go for it?
I'll go for it.
Okay, love it.
And then you can let me know if I make a
Yes.
mistake.
Yes, you can give us advice if we're,
Okay.
is it too thick?
So far, so good. So I would now take another one up, and
Oh, you mean,
yeah, put another one on top. Yep.
yeah, is there some tricky way of doing this?
So you can even use your other hand just to kind of lay
Oh,
it
okay.
on. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Nicely done.
All right. Now you have ganache.
Oh,
So we'll
ganache.
switch bowls.
Oh, the dark,
Do
the
you have your
dark
spreader?
stuff.
Yep. You can just scrape the spreader on the side of that bowl.
There you are done. Oh,
There we go.
Thank you.
there we go. Now what goes into the ganache?
Ganache is semi-sweet chocolate and cream.
Wipe these off and get ready for the next layer.
So the
Another
last,
last
Layer.
Okay.
okay.
Buttercream sets up pretty quick because butter likes to be cold. What we have in the industry is a little churning wheel. Do you guys want to try that?
Very similar to dealing with walls and plaster. It's the same principle, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing about this is it smells better. And it's edible.
So now we're going to, I use my hand for this. I
Okay.
just scoop it up. I'll give you a little demonstration. And I just press them on the side.
Oh, and then whatever
Oh.
falls just falls back
And-
in the nut pile.
Oh, yes.
And just
all
be
cleaned
careful it
up.
doesn't get, you're going to spread it with your spatula.
Okay.
So just pour, I don't know, a couple tablespoons on,
Okay.
and you can spread it around.
And is that pretty much the consistency you want?
Yeah, you're talking about the chocolate
Yeah,
right
the
now?
chocolate,
Yeah, it might be a tad thick, but if it's too much thinner than that, it will go
Everywhere.
running
Yes,
everywhere.
yeah.
So it's nice, it's loose enough. It'll stay a little bit shiny when it's
Right.
a little bit warmer like this than
Uh-huh.
if it was like this thicker.
Yes.
stuff. But you want it thick to make a layer.
This
so
too.
have you done some cake decorating? Do you know a little bit about how to hold the pastry too?
I have, but
Yeah.
I haven't had a lot of success, so
Okay.
I'd love it if I had tips from you.
Yeah, I pretty much just squeeze with one hand, and I usually use my free hand to guide this thing around. So I'm pretty much only using one hand.
Okay.
If I'm doing a lot of cake decorating, I'll lock my elbow into my hip somewhere, just to kind of, it also steadies it.
Yes,
But
that makes
in
sense.
this case, it's going to be fine just to kind of just a free form roll with it.
Okay.
So the easiest one is going to be to do a star tip. If you guys want to, we can have you practice somewhere else. Or you can do like a shell like that. Or the one that I did over there for the demo is my favorite border, which you kind of do go back and forth like this. And in my case,
Oh.
I am just using constant pressure.
Oh,
But
okay.
the speed at which I go with it is what's going to determine
Critical.
the pattern. Like some, you
Oh, okay.
can do, I don't want to do it all your fun. I better
Yes.
let you have fun with it.
Yes, okay.
Or maybe Jim will let you have a side on his. Very nice.
Your friends are going to be so impressed.
Okay, I love it.
Voila.
Bravo, you made it all the way around.
Yay.
Very good.
I kind of had my own idea here, so
All right, go for
we'll
it.
see how it works.
It's your bucket list.
I wasn't looking at the whole thing, so I guess I have 7.
Oh, you can do 7. Perfect.
Beautiful. Nicely done, sir.
Oh, my pleasure.
Oh, look at, yes,
There, you
you
did it.
too, Donna, look at that. And then do you chili it all before you serve it?
For
or-
sure would be a good idea.
I was hoping we'd get a taste, but maybe they should go home and chill them.
Well, they could chill. We could dive into this one. If you
Oh.
want to eat some now.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
What do
you.
you
Everybody
think, crew? Here comes the good part.
Beautiful.
Oh, how beautiful it is.
There we go.
Ooh.
And
Okay,
all right,
Here we go.
thank you.
Mmm.
ready?
Okay.
Ready.
Oh,
Ready?
boy.
Okay.
Look at the
We
nice
all eat at
corner
once.
with
1,
it.
2, 3.
Oh.
Pretty silky
Really
smooth.
delicious.
Oh,
What do
wow.
you think?
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Really
Poor camera
amazing.
crew.
I think there's more to be had.
Yes.
Well,
Enough for everybody.
not that we should be talking with our mouths full, but Donna and Jim, as a bucket list item, what do you think?
Oh, this was wonderful. We
It was
really
great.
appreciate, Barrett,
Oh, you're
that you
welcome.
and Ramones allowed us to come into your kitchen.
Thank you so much.
It was really
Great.
exciting just to see everything and to actually do a hands-on.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed it.
that's
Thanks.
great. Well, I really enjoyed
And it's
it.
delicious too.
You think you can try this at home?
Mm,
You won't need to
absolutely.
for a while, but really, does that
Yeah.
feel manageable in terms of what?
I can try this at home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's
Good.
great.
Well, Barrett, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for having us, because you did a lot to make all of this experience for us.
Yes,
Thank you
definitely.
so
You're
much.
very
And
welcome.
I think maybe you should put having my own cooking show on your bucket list.
There we go.
You're a natural. Thanks, Barrett.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
you guys.
Great.
Thank you for joining us. You can watch this and other entertaining bucket list episodes online at keat.org. Now, what's on your bucket list?